welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So when I filmed my first video in this year wrap-up series, I said that there will be 4 parts. Well, after filming that video, I decided to add one more part, and it's the one that I'm going to share with you today. It was filmed after the other 4 parts, but I'm going to include it in the middle. I don't know why, it doesn't matter. And as you saw by the title, this one is going to be a wrap-up of my 2020 wish list. Now, I did 2 wishlist videos this year, and I wanted to share with you what happened with these wish lists. And the way that I'm going to structure this video is I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. I'm going to show you fragrances that I actually purchased from my fragrance wish list. Then I'm going to tell you about fragrances that I changed my mind on, that I took off my wish list for whatever reason. Then I'm gonna share with you fragrances that are still on my wish list, and we're gonna end with a short part with additions to my wish list for 2021. So as you can imagine, I will be mentioning a lot of fragrances in this video, and for that reason, I will not go into a lot of details about each one. We will go through these fairly quickly. So let's start with the fragrances that I added to my collection from my wish list. The first one is Elie Saab Essence 1 Rose. This fragrance is all about roses. It has 4 types of different roses. This is from Elie Saab's private collection. I am so happy that I added this fragrance. Definitely enjoy it. Second one that I purchased from my wish list is from Tiziana Terenzi. This is Cassiopeia. And this is a beautiful passion fruit fragrance. It is sweet, it is airy, it is absolutely beautiful. So again, no regrets about purchasing it. The next one is Boys from Kilian. Again, this is a fragrance that I had on my wish list for a long time. And when I found out that this line of Kilian was getting discontinued, I right away purchased it. Again, absolutely love it. This fragrance is about Coca-Cola, and I have really been enjoying it during warm weather. Next one that I had on my wish list and I purchased is from Valentino Donna Born in Roma. And I only purchased this travel spray. And in this case, I'm really glad that I did, because this is definitely not my favorite. It is kind of a sweet, fruity floral, I would say, but it is, I find it slightly juvenile and slightly synthetic. It is pleasant, but it is definitely not my favorite, and I definitely don't have the need to purchase a full bottle. Next 2 are huge winners. The first one is Choir of Angels from Atelier des Ors. This is kind of a honeyed blood orange. Sort of smells like some type of candy from my childhood. I absolutely love this fragrance. Again, amazing addition to my collection. And the next one is the one that I've spoken about so many times. This is, of course, La Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier. This is a juicy pear. Again, an amazing fragrance that is worth all the hype that it received this year. And there are 3 more that I purchased from my wish list. We have from Shane Blue Salt and Caramel. This is salt and caramel, absolutely delicious, sweet, and I have been using it a ton. Another amazing fragrance that has been on my list for a very long time and that I finally purchased this year, and it has become definitely one of my top 3 fragrances in my entire collection. You might have guessed by now that I'm talking about Unknown Pleasures from Kerosene. Again, beautiful sweet gourmand fragrance that has vanilla. I think it has caramel, tea. It's just an outstanding scent that I recommend to everyone. And the last one that I just purchased very recently, and I shared with you in my last haul, this is from BDK Parfums. This is Pas Ce Soir. This is a beautiful, juicy, sweet, fruity fragrance. Absolutely love it. I was initially concerned about the lasting power, but it is very, very decent on me. So again, absolutely thrilled with this purchase. So these are the fragrances that I purchased from my list, from my wish list this year. Now, which ones did I change my mind on? Let's go through those very quickly. First one is from Repurchase. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the brand correctly. Mademoiselle Repurchase. I heard about this fragrance that it sort of smells like a sweet apple pie, and that's why I wanted to try it. But I've changed my mind about it because I have quite a few fragrances in my collection that have a similar type of smell, and I don't feel like I need another one. Next one is Nina Ricci L'Extase Rose Absolue, and if you watched my videos, you know that I actually purchased this fragrance and then I decluttered it. It was a lovely fragrance, but I found it to be too similar to the original L'Extase, and I just didn't feel like I needed to have both, and I preferred the original just a little bit more, and that's why I decluttered it. Next one that I changed my mind on is Remember Me from Jovoy. Now, when I originally heard about this fragrance, what interested me about it was that there was a mention about it being somewhat similar to Ani from Nishane, which is a fragrance, as you know, that I absolutely love. And thankfully, I did not blind buy the full bottle. I actually got a sample and I tried it. And it is a nice fragrance, but it wasn't the right fragrance for me. I did not find similarities to Ani. I think it was a little too green and it didn't have maybe enough vanilla and enough sweetness for me to like it, but it just wasn't for me, and so I took it off my wish list. Next one is Side Effect from Initio. Now, I had a sample of this one, and initially I thought that I wanted to have a full bottle, but I tested my sample a little bit more, and eventually I came to a conclusion that although it was a beautiful scent and it's kind of a boozy tobacco type of scent, I found it a bit too masculine for me. I just didn't think that I would use it all that often, and that's why I decided to take it off my list. Next one should not come as a surprise because I've talked about these fragrances in this particular house in my fragrances that I will not repurchase video. If you haven't watched it, I'm gonna link it up here. And I'm talking about Attar Collection, the full house, and my experience with it. I'm not gonna go into any details here. Like I said, if you're interested, make sure to watch that video. But based on my experience with this house, I will not be purchasing anything from them, and that's why all the fragrances that I was interested in, I took off my wish list. Next one that I had on my list was from Mikolev, Ananda Dolce. And after I mentioned this fragrance in my wish list video, I got quite a few comments from people who have tried this, and they said that they weren't really impressed with it, and just the way that they described it sort of made me think that maybe I shouldn't blind buy this fragrance because I do not have a sample and I'm not sure where I can find a sample of it. So I decided, let's take it off my wish list for now. The next one is from Jean Paul Gaultier called Soul Scandale. And again, this is a fragrance that I mentioned in my last video because I got a travel spray of it. I tried it and it just had too much tuberose in it for me to like it, and that's why I took it off my wish list. And the last one is from Paco Rabanne Pure Access. Again, if you have been watching my videos, you know that I actually purchased this fragrance and then I decluttered it because my whole reasoning behind purchasing it was that I really wanted to have a popcorn-centric fragrance, and unfortunately, to me, I didn't get a lot of popcorn in it. And while I was preparing for this video, I actually remembered that when I purchased Pure Access, it came as a set, and I've since decluttered the full bottle, but as it turns out, I actually have a small travel spray of this, so I'm going to keep it in case, you know, I change my mind about this fragrance one day, which I do quite often, then I have it in a travel spray. Now let's talk about fragrances that I still have on my wish list. And let's start with the 3 fragrances that I think I'm gonna continue to have on my wish list because all 3 of them are discontinued and extremely hard to find. I'm talking about My Insolence from Guerlain, Italica from Xerjoff, and Midnight Poison from Dior. I'm still very, very interested in all 3 of these, and if I find any of them for a reasonable price, I will definitely purchase them and try them out. I'm just extremely curious about all 3, and I sort of have a feeling that I might like them. Next one that I still have on my wish list is Love and Crime from Ex Idolo. This is a fragrance that's extremely similar to Xerjoff Lyra, and that's really the only reason that I've been hesitating in purchasing it, because it is so similar. But I have a sample, I've tried it, it is absolutely stunning, and I think that eventually I will succumb to the want of this fragrance and will actually end up purchasing it. Next one is Tom Ford Noir Parfum. Again, you know that I have a travel spray of Noir Extreme, the male version of a very similar fragrance, but I really want to have a full bottle of Noir Parfum, and I just haven't purchased it yet, but I am pretty sure it will be added to my collection. Another one that is still on my wish list is from the house of Oud, called What About Pop? This is a fragrance that a few of my subscribers suggested to me when I mentioned that I was looking for a popcorn type of fragrance, which pure excess turned out not to be for me. And so I am definitely interested in trying What About Pop? Next one is from Ex Nihilo, Lust in Paradise. This is kind of a beautiful, I would say, fruity floral, maybe more leaning on the floral side, but it is absolutely beautiful. I've sampled it, but this house is extremely expensive. I cannot find it for a discounted price anywhere, and I'm just not willing to pay the full price for it for now, and that's why it is still on the wish list. Next one is Note Vanille from Mikolev, and there are several reasons that I haven't purchased this one yet. One, what I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this fragrance is exclusive to Lucky Scent, and you know, shipping to Canada with all the duties and everything is quite expensive, so that's one issue. And the second issue, I am not sure at the moment how I feel about fragrances from Mikolev altogether, because there's been some controversy lately as far as their advertisements and marketing that they're using. And so I'm really not sure if I want to support a brand like that. So for now, there's kind of a question mark under this fragrance. Next one that is still on my wish list is Cruz del Sur from Xerjoff, Cruz del Sur 2, I should say, because there is also one. This is kind of a fruity fragrance that features a note of mango, and I've been curious about it for a long time, and I'm getting kind of contradicting opinions about it. Some people say it's amazing, some people say it is quite disappointing. So what I've decided to do is to order a sample, which I have ordered and I'm waiting for. So we will see if I like it or not, or if I think that it's worth the price, because as you can imagine, Xerjoff, this is pretty pricey. So we will see. I will keep you posted. Next one is Haired from Parfums de Marly. This is kind of a sweet tobacco fragrance. I have sampled it. I really enjoyed, but I find it quite similar to Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford, which I have a full bottle of now. And so I'm still deciding if I need another bottle of a similar type of fragrance. Again, we will see. And we're left with 2 more that are still on my wish list. This is Shergi from Serge Lutens. Again, this is kind of in the same category as Haired. It's a fragrance that has a strong note of tobacco in it, and for the same reason, I haven't purchased it yet, and I'm not sure if I will. And the very last one is from Initio, Atomic Rose. Again, it's a fragrance that I have sampled, and I find it very, very similar to Delina Exclusive, and so I just haven't purchased it yet. I think eventually I would probably go for one of them, either Delina Exclusive or Atomic Rose. Which one? I don't know. But for now, this one is still on my wish list. And maybe, I'm hoping, maybe Santa Claus will bring me some of these fragrances for the holidays, and I will share them with you in my new haul in 2021. We will see, I don't know. And now the last part of this video is a very short list of new fragrances that I would like to add to my 2021 wish list. And they're not very many, and that's a good thing because I really don't need to purchase anymore, but we all know I will. Anyways, let's start going through the list. The first one that I have is from Byron Parfums, and this is Mula Mula Rouge Extreme. Now, my friend Nisha Spicy Looks sent me samples of the original Mula and the Rouge Extreme version, and although I liked both and I tested both quite extensively, I knew that I wasn't going to purchase both. I just wanted one, and after extensive testing, I decided that I really enjoy the Rouge version more, and so that's the one that I put on my wish list. Some of the main notes in here are fruity notes, caramel, ginger, oud, vanilla, sandalwood, patchouli. So it's a really beautiful, sweet, fruity fragrance with really strong note of caramel, and oud adds a little bit of punch to it. So it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance overall, and it is strongly on my wish list. Next one is from Initio, and this is Psychedelic Love. And I got it a while ago together with a few other samples that I've talked about already, Atomic Rose and Side Effect. And for some reason, initially, although I liked it, it didn't make a huge impression on me. But as I tested it further and further, I really, really fell in love with this fragrance and definitely want to add it to my collection. This fragrance has a strong note of heliotrope. There's ylang ylang, myrrh, sandalwood, and it's a kind of a creamy, very slightly powdery, milky, sweet, almondy type of fragrance. Really, really interesting. I think it would be quite unique to my collection because I really don't have many fragrances that smell like this, and performance on it is really good. Like I said, I have a sample that I've tested extensively. So again, a fragrance that I'm definitely very interested in. Next one is another fragrance from the House of Kerosene, which, as you know, has become one of my favorite houses, and this is Winter of '99. This is another gourmand fragrance. No surprise here either. The notes in here are molasses, nutmeg, vanilla, woody notes, and so I have no idea exactly what it smells like, but I'm definitely interested in trying it. Next, I have another fragrance from BDK Parfums, and I kind of thought I was done with this house for now. I have two fragrances from them, which I'm pretty happy with, but this one kind of piqued my interest in recent times. This is called Tobacco Rose. So the notes in here are plum, rose, tobacco, chocolate, cinnamon, patchouli, and based on the descriptions and reviews that I've seen and read, it sounds like this is kind of a very chocolatey rose with a touch of tobacco, which sounds absolutely fascinating to me and sounds like something that I would really enjoy. So that's why I've added this fragrance to my wish list. Next one is a fragrance that surprised me so much and that I am determined to find. I'm talking about Perry Ellis Oud Black Vanilla Absolute. And I heard about this fragrance quite a while ago, and I finally was able to get a sample of it. And it is pretty much a dead-on dupe for Guerlain Spiritueuse Double Vanille. It is so, so close. I mean, I would not hesitate to call it a dupe. And the bonus here is that the performance is better than in Spiritueuse Double Vanille. That's why I'm so interested in it. And I have tried searching for this fragrance. It is discontinued. I have tried searching for it everywhere and I cannot find it anywhere. So if any of you by some chance know where I can find it or hear about this, please let me know, because I really, really want to get this fragrance. And we're left with only 2 more. The next one I will not spend a lot of time on because I've talked about it in a very recent video. This is Aujeon from Parfums de Marly. It's a fragrance that I really fell in love with. It is absolutely beautiful, sweet, deep, gourmand type of scent. What's stopping me from purchasing it is that I have a couple more fragrances in my collection that are quite similar to Aujeon, and so I'm just debating, do I need it because I already have a few scents that are similar? We will see what will happen with that debate. And that brings us to the last fragrance on my wish list, which might surprise you if you've been watching my videos carefully. This is Love Don't Be Shy from Kilian, and I did get a sample of this fragrance, again, from my friend Nisha. Thank you. And initially when I tested it, I wasn't too impressed with it. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. And I had a hard time understanding why so much hype around this fragrance. But I kept the sample, I sort of put it away for a while, and then I took it out again, as I often do with samples, and I started testing it again. And for some reason, for the second time, when I took it out and started testing it, I absolutely fell in love. This is a beautiful, sweet, candied kind of orange blossom. And I think it was orange blossom that threw me off at the beginning because it's just a note that I'm not crazy about, but it is very sweet and gourmand in this fragrance. Like it's sort of a candied or marshmallowy type of orange blossom that is absolutely beautiful. And so unfortunately, I have to add it to my wish list. And again, it's definitely very high on my wish list. So I hope that I will be able to add it to my collection soon. Whew, that's it. I hope you stayed with me for the duration of this video. I know I went through everything very quickly, but you know, to make sure that this video is not super long and we had a lot of fragrances to talk about, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and definitely let me know in the comments below, how did you do with your wish list this year? And do you have any new additions for the new year? Thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.